Hello, everybody in the internet world. How are you? Good to see you. It's Trish Carr with another episode from Women's Prosperity Network of Be Real, Get Real. This is the place where we actually get to know the people behind the business because it's the people we're doing business with, not the business. And the more we know, like, and trust the people behind the business, the more it works out as a win-win for everybody. Whether it's you're going to your grocery store that's owned by a big chain, but the person who bags your grocery is the same one every week, or whether it's a business that you do regular get services from, it's always so wonderful to know the person. And that's what we do here at Women's Prosperity Network. We're all about being real because when you're real with what's happening in your life and you can get real, and at Women's Prosperity Network, we certainly have people who will lovingly help you get real. And then from there, you get real results. So I'm really happy to have here with me today as my guest, someone you may know. She's the amazing Raksha Joshi. And you're going to learn so much about her today. She was born in Uganda and raised in London. So, right there, what an interesting background. Add to that, she's of Indian heritage, and you have a trifecta of interesting background. Now, that makes it possible for her to bring the perfect blend of Eastern and Western methodologies to her clients so that they can achieve what they want to in their lives. She's the proud mother of two daughters and nanny to her grandbabies. And she supports motivated people who are frustrated, stuck, and overwhelmed. Have you ever felt like that? I have. And sometimes you get stuck at what life throws you. So you just want to get off the hamster wheel once and for all. So she shows you how to create a successful life, how to have your vision, how to take your plan and make it come to life. Raksha Joshi, it is my welcome. It's my pleasure to welcome you today. Hi.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, and we're local to each other today. Raksha's in
Yes,
Miami and I'm in Fort Lauderdale, so we're right near each other
right
today.
here. Stone's throw away.
That's right. Those of you who are living in the northern part of the country and cold countries around the world, you won't want to know that it's 80 degrees today, which is probably about 32 Celsius. So we're very lucky while others are having snow.
Yeah.
Wonderful, right? So,
I'm right on the edge. I'm like 20 minutes from the beach.
yes,
So
I know you're so close and the sun is out and shining. We're so lucky we live in a paradise.
we do. We do.
Yeah,
Very
people get on airplanes to come vacation here, and we're so lucky that we live here. So, have you always been in Miami since you've been in the US?
No, I used to be in Orlando.
Oh,
I
yes,
I
but you
was
were,
there for like 38 years.
yeah, all Florida though. You came
All
from
Florida. I came
London
from London.
to Florida. How long did you live in London?
I lived there for a good 25 years.
Oh, that's a long time.
Yeah.
We spoke before, and I remember you telling me that when you were leaving Uganda when you were a child to move to London, it was in the throes of a coup, Idi Amin, for any of you who know history. Idi Amin was overthrowing the government in
Mhm.
Uganda, and everybody was leaving. What was that experience like as a little kid?
I Trish can't say firsthand about what it was like because my dad had noticed what was going on in the government and got us out. However, he was still there.
Mm,
He was at the airport trying to get on a flight home when the coup happened.
wow.
So it was scary because both my parents were there when it happened. The day that it happened, they were both there, and I was in London with my four siblings.
Uh,
The eldest one at that point being 20. So
wow,
it
big
was
difference in
scary.
age.
It was, yeah. I was a straggler. There were three boys between my eldest and by the time they got to me, and I was one of those, a little late comer.
Surprise baby. A surprise gift.
Don't go there.
Well, I'm glad that, it's like when you look back at your life, because I know that you've had a lot of transitions. And one of the biggest ones I can really relate to is one that you told me about. And that's when you were 50, that you were divorced, your kids were
Yeah,
gone, and there
yeah.
you were on your own once again for another transition.
Well, one thing I realized during that experience is life is always transitioning,
Hmm.
right? But that was one that sticks out because I honestly thought I was self-sufficient, independent, I had a good job. Um, did not realize the impact that would have on my managing everything myself because so far I'd had somebody partnering with me to manage everything for 26 years. And here I
Right.
was in my 50s reinventing myself. That was kind of scary. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about the power of being organized, having a plan, knowing where you're going. And actually, that's when I committed to always having a plan ahead. It was
Did
just one of
you
those things.
tell me though, when that's like a year later. Okay, I got divorced. What was I mean, how did you get to the space? Because I know, so when I got divorced, I was around the same age. And I had been with my husband for so many years. We were married for 25 years. And I was the one who initiated it. So, I
Same.
mean, I had the power, but there was it was so interesting. I went between, wow, I'm so excited to, wow, what's next? Right? Like I wasn't right into what's my plan, where am I going? Like how long did it take you to jump that, to make that? Or was there no trepidation in the beginning for you?
No, like very similar to you. Like, yes, I got this. I can handle everything. To oh my God, what the hell did I just do?
Yeah, right.
Um, it was like, what came over me? What did I do?
Yeah,
And I think the biggest one was just the relief of all the trauma that happened during the time period
right.
because you're letting go of a whole lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
In many cases, I don't know about you, but that was my identity.
Mm,
I was known as X, Y, and Z's wife.
mm,
I was known as X, Y, and Z's mom.
right. Your girl's mom.
So I never really knew what it was like to be Raksha.
Mm,
And it was like, oh my goodness, okay, so what do I do? And then I don't know about your community, but in mine, um, divorces are not very common.
mm,
So there was this whole thing of acclimating to new relationships with people you've had relationships for years, in some cases, decades, that without having a partner, you became somebody they didn't want you around because there was some, what do you call?
jealousy,
So
concern.
there was, I wouldn't say jealousy and concern, I would say more like she's not a good person kind of thing.
Get out. How could they change? How could you, just because you're no longer associated with that man, how does that change who you are to them?
Because it's like, oh, but think about it. We're a very close-knit community. In many cases, we're very orthodox as well.
You're talking about the
My
Indian Hindu?
Yeah, my
Okay.
community is such, right? And we're very traditional. And even though
Oh,
it's common, it's not that common for a 50-year-old to turn around and say, I'm done.
right.
So, and I've never really fit. into that community just because of where I come from, my upbringing. I don't come from India.
Right.
So the thought process and the mindset is very different. I was raised
So you-
in England. I was raised in a
Right.
Western
In
community,
the Western, yeah.
right? My whole life has been exposed just to the Western way of being. Because when I moved to London, I was a child. So there
Right.
was that influence, and then there was this influence. And it took something, it took a good year. Um, and my whole process took that long. So I had time to kind of acclimate a little bit. But when it really hit me was moving into the house and then finding out all the things that followed. You know, when I moved into my home, it was in foreclosure, which I didn't know, and I had to fight the system for it. There were so many things that had happened that I wasn't aware of, or I was aware of, but I was naive enough to think I could manage it. That's when it first really hit me that, oh my God, I did not think far ahead. I needed to actually sit down, and I found a mentor. I was lucky enough to find a mentor to sit down with and create what's next for me. What talents do I have? Because when you're in a job, everything is done for you. You know, every week you're going to come home with this. But think about it. This also happened in 2008 when the country was going through one of the most devastating recessions. We all
Mhm.
remember that. So it was
Yeah,
just,
not just the country, globally, we were going through it in
yes,
2008. So there
yes,
you were, divorced. 2008, the world fell out of the financial markets. So whatever
mhm,
money you had was down. Then to
exactly.
find out your property was in foreclosure and you didn't know it.
No, that was the whole the time. Remember when Wells Fargo and Bank of America
Oh
and all
yeah,
these
yeah, yeah.
big
That's I was
banks
a
were,
real estate investor. I know.
yeah, like they were in some cases handing out foreclosure notices, not even when a place needed to be in foreclosure.
Oh my gosh, what a daunting situation to be in.
And I had never dealt with anything like that. So I was like, oh my God, what did I do?
Your husband handle the money in the house?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the other thing. So
Yes.
many of us, luckily, I I did the money, but so many of us, and Deborah Morrison, who's a financial planner that we know and that we work with, that's her thing is that women in their 50s are finding themselves single, but
Yes.
not understanding how finances work. And here we are, and what do I do to get my house out of foreclosure? So, how did you get okay, so um, I, in 2008, was a real estate investor and I had multiple properties. And be, I had to let them go into foreclosure because there was nothing else I could do. And I dreaded the phone ringing. Like I knew that I had a plan, I had a lawyer, I knew how I was going to get out of this. But just that phone ringing and everybody calling me to pay the bill and do all that. I mean, how were you feeling then? I know how I was. I was feeling, oh my God, am I ever going to get past this?
That is pretty much how I was feeling, like that the whole world was falling around me and I had
Yeah,
no idea how to deal with it because I you know me well enough to know that I don't want confrontation. I don't
right,
want to argue with anyone, you
right.
know? I'm more of a person to look within to say, okay, what did I do to create the situation? Than to kind of say, no, this is my right and I need to do this.
Yeah.
Well, I quickly had to learn to stand up for myself.
Mhm.
And not just stand up for myself, but be vocal enough to be heard. So that was a big lesson for me to be heard because I'd never needed to be heard, or I
Mm,
accepted it that I don't need to be heard.
mm.
So while I am this person in my work life that was a leader, got things done, I could say what I needed to, in my personal life, that is not who I was.
Mm. So interesting how some of us have those two different personas, right, in your personal life and your business life.
So compartmentalized.
Yes.
Everything was so compartmentalized, and that is why I do what I do now.
Tell
Um,
us a little bit
is
about that.
so I created this power system, which is really to connect you with yourself, finding out what's important. And you and I have had these conversations before. As women, doesn't matter where you come from. Success for us, and success for many people actually, is defined by community, our families, our teachers, our friends, our peers, media, the system. And we never really ask ourselves what that is. And for women, it's worse because we get so wrapped up as being the caretakers for our homes, our children, our husbands. We take on that subconsciously. Sometimes we're not even conscious we're taking that on, right? And we've never
Yes.
asked ourselves, what does success look like for us? Have you heard of those women? Oh, I'm married to a doctor, or I'm married to a CEO, or but what are you? That's what I
Right.
ask them is, what are you?
Right.
And I learned doing that after my divorce is who am I? What am I? What do I want? So one of the things that I work with people is intensely is getting them clear around what does their life look like, not something that was planned by somebody else,
Mm.
but what is it that they really want? And once they know what they want, then it's easy to take that vision and create it into their reality.
Yeah.
Because now they know they're doing it for them, not because they have the kids that they have to take care of, or the husband that they have to take care of, or the parents that they might need to. Because think about it, your age and my age, we're that sandwich age. We've got our kids to
Exactly.
take care of, and we've got our parents to take care of.
Yes. Yes,
So,
absolutely. So I'm thinking, as you have, okay, I'm again coming from my own place. As I got divorced at 50, or actually I was a little younger than that, I was in my 40s, but when I got divorced, I had all these possibilities in front of me. And the reality was, it was scary to say
yes,
out loud what I really wanted
yes.
because I felt it might not be attainable. So did you find that when you work with people, so you work with people in business, entrepreneurs,
Mhm.
small business owners, and the first place you go at is who are you? What do you want? Where you want to go? Let's build your business around what you want.
Yes.
Do you I would imagine you find people who just don't want to verbalize the blue sky. This is really where I want to go. You get there's they hold themselves back from their dream.
Because that's how we've been trained. It's
Right.
like that whole thing about, the fly only jumps as high as the lid. So we all have an invisible lid on us.
Yes.
And to jump out of that, it's scary, right? So my thing is to hold their hand and say, it's okay, I've got you. It's like, when people go parasailing and the first few times the person comes with you. So you're
Right.
kind of on top of each other and they're holding you, they're gliding you. That's pretty much what I do for a bit. And then as I see that they're building their confidence, I will have them kind of do things on their own and actually start verbalizing. And some people don't verbalize, but they'll draw. So it's like, okay,
Oh,
let's sit and just create. Let's do what we want to do. And I've had people say, this is taking too long. And I'm like, you didn't get here in a day. You're not going to get where you want to get in a day either. But you really have to know what is it that you want and what is it that you want to create. And it's not just about you. It's about your family. As entrepreneurs, the biggest reason we become entrepreneurs is we want a better life for our families. We don't want
yes,
the lid that a job puts on us, right? And we
yes.
risk everything. In some cases, especially women entrepreneurs, getting financing for women is so difficult that they bankroll pretty much their own business in
Yeah.
the beginning. And it's if you don't have the right person to walk you through it, you can go under very fast.
Hmm.
And now
Yeah.
you,
Which that's
yeah,
the statistic is half of businesses are gone in the first year.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And that's the reason why is because they don't think about what they want and they don't put they don't put the time in creating the plan and figuring out that if I had nothing coming in, how long can I sustain myself?
Right. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And some of us do, like, say, some of us get lucky and our business takes off, but then there comes that period when you hit a plateau and now you have to reinvent yourself. So that is one thing that is guaranteed, and that's why I do what I do, is we are reinventing ourselves almost every 6 months to a year in this day and age. In our parents' day and age, they went to a job, they were in a job for 30 years, retired with
Right.
the golden watch and pension. We don't have that safety anymore.
No, and something, the last statistic I heard was people going into the workforce today will have 11 different jobs
Yes,
over the course of their work. Whereas you're right, for us, it was one job forever. You get to,
absolutely. And that's a habit that's difficult to break because we have been trained that way. That it has now become a muscle memory for us, right? For
yeah.
for a boomer, that is a muscle memory that I'm going to
Well,
stay here forever.
right. Well, for you, I mean, you were in a job, so,
Mhm.
and then you became an entrepreneur. Like, that's a leap. Like, what gave you the courage to make that leap?
My ex and I had businesses on the side while I was doing a job, right? So
Okay.
I did all the background work. I knew what the foundation was that I needed. Um, the reason I took the leap was I wanted to move to Miami and support my daughter in taking care of my grandson. Like, he's my world. You know me well enough to know that he is my world.
Yes.
And in order for me to do that, after the age of 50, if you quit your job, chances are very slim you're going to get hired into another job.
Hmm. Yeah.
And a job would have meant 9 to 5, which meant I wouldn't have been around to take care of him.
Yeah. So it was exactly opposite of what you wanted.
Yeah. So
But you knew what
entrepreneurship
you
was my,
wanted.
so yes, I knew very clearly what I want. I knew what I wanted clearly the day he was born and I saw his face.
Oh my God. How old is he now?
He is 6.
Oh my gosh. So great. They're so
He
great.
is 6. And I am so blessed to be a
You are
part.
in love with him. You are just in love with him. I know.
I am. I don't have room for loving anything or anyone else.
I
He's 6.
know. That is so wonderful. And now you're running a successful business. You're a mentor and supporter
Mhm.
for people in business so that they can get what they want and create a business that gives them what they want, that sustains them, that does all the things you want a business to do. So, Raksha, when I have your website up here, what's the
Mhm.
best way to reach you and find out more and connect with
They can go
creating that life that you really want?
Okay, they can go to my website and book a call with me. We can have a conversation because everyone is different. Everyone has a different story, a different background, and I want to have a conversation with you to see even if we're a good fit. Because if we don't have that energy between us, then I will be the first one to say, I'm not the one for you,
Right.
but I know somebody else who might be.
When you are, though, the magic happens.
And that's the whole thing. I love it when the magic happens
Yeah.
because it's so simple, right? We hear all these stories of, you'll make 6 figures in 30 days and stuff. It doesn't work. You and I've been around long enough to know it doesn't work that
Doesn't
way.
work that way. And just because you made six figures this year doesn't mean you're going to make more six figures next year, right?
That's it. You gotta have it. It's like building a house. Like you go to the beach, you build a house, the first wave comes in, it drives the foundation out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about get your foundation right, get all the things in place that will not shift if anything needed to shift.
Yeah, exactly. And
Because
that is the key.
like I
That is the
said,
key.
we are reinventing ourselves every single day.
Absolutely, 100%. And woman, you have done it over and over again,
I
and you
will be doing it
continue
till the day I die.
until the day you die. Thank you, Raksha Joshi, for being with me today. You know, you bring up such an important part of life, and that is that the only thing you can count on is change. And
Yes,
how you react to it, what you do in the face of that is what's going to happen with your life. And you stepped into it in a big way. So
I
thank you for
did.
everything that you do for all of us.
Thank
And really, everybody, I urge you to get in touch with Raksha. Be sure to go to her website, find out more about how she works with people, not only to build your business, make the money you want to make sure you have systems in place so that you can have more freedom, but everything is built around the life you want to lead. And
absolutely.
that's it. That's everything. So Raksha, thank you so much for being with us today. I appreciate you so much. And
Oh,
thank
thank
you,
you.
everybody. Go ahead, say that again.
I
She
said
said thank you.
thank you.
You're welcome. I appreciate it. Remember Raksha's words, everything is always in transition, and it is true. And we're always, always reinventing ourselves. The idea is make sure you have the right mentor to help you with that. And Raksha's your girl. So
Thank
thanks
you.
everybody for being with us on Be Real, Get Real. And we'll be back here again soon with another episode. Trish Carr from Women's Prosperity Network signing off. Be sure you go and get your free membership started at womensprosperitynetwork.com. And we will see you when we see you for another episode. Have a wonderful day. Thank you again, Raksha.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye, everybody.